Everyone, my name is Ana Ferreras. I am the SNAP nutritionist from the Hispanic Health Council and my coworker.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yesenia Turcio. I'm a SNAP and nutrition educator for the PANA program at the Hispanic Health Council.
Excellent. And we work for a program called Nutrition Assistant Education, or SNAP. And we help people to learn how to choose healthy food on a limited budget. And also we're gonna help people to be more physically active at home. We are going to learn using a curriculum called Eating Smart, Being Active. And I'm going to share with you right now. So this is the curriculum that we are going to use. Eating Smart, Being Active. And the information on this curriculum is based on the most research, on the most current research on food, healthy eating, and physical activity. So welcome to all of you one more time, and keep with us every other week. It will be 9 lessons, so we encourage you to stay tuned with us, and it is going to be no more than 30 minutes, okay? And if you feel free to ask questions in the chat, and we're going to answer you right back, okay? Thank you. So in each of our lessons, I'm going to ask you things to share with us related to food and physical activity.
All right, so before we get started, let's just start off with a quick icebreaker. We're kind of aware that the is transmitting a couple of seconds later, so I'll ask a question, and I hope that you will give me, you would answer the icebreaker question, and then our participants, our guests, they can answer in the chat, and we're paying attention, and we're gonna also share here. But let me ask you a question, Anna, and everyone that is online watching. What is your favorite vegetable and why?
Oh, you know what? My favorite vegetable is eggplant. You know, eggplant, I use it in different recipes. For example, I use eggplant for doing eggplant meatball. I do fried eggplant as well. I do casserole eggplants. You know, I also do lasagna. There's many ways I can use my favorite vegetable, the eggplant. What about you? What is your favorite vegetable?
Okay, so I would say that my favorite vegetable is cabbage. So a cabbage, I love it because we can eat it both fresh and cooked. So I like cabbage salad. My family's from El Salvador, so we eat pupusas and we eat them with a side of cabbage. And then I also like steamed cabbage with my meals as well. So yeah.
Good. So what about you? Also feel free to participate, you know, anyone in the chat, you know, what is your favorite vegetable? So let me tell you something, that we eat food for different reasons other than just because we are hungry or because we need the nutrients. We eat food as well because our culture, our family traditions, and because our religious belief. And we all have had different experience with food, very different from others. So the important thing to remember is that food plays many roles in our life. And if we make smart choices, the food we eat can help us to stay and to keep healthy.
That's right. So living a healthy lifestyle includes balancing the foods that we eat with the physical activity that we get. So eating smart and being active lessons, they are based on the latest scientific research about food, physical activity, and health. And this includes the recommendations for the dietary guidelines for Americans and the physical activity guidelines for Americans. So we can use these guidelines to help us plan healthy meals and snacks and just to be more physically active every day. And by doing this, we can improve our health. We can reduce the risk of diseases like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even cancer.
Yes, and let me tell you something that, you know, the recommendations from the dietary guidelines for America have been placed into this single picture that you see here. You see here, let me show you. You see here in my back, this is called My Plate. My Plate serves as a guide for help us to make healthy choices for ourselves and our family. As you see here, my plate has 5 food groups. We have vegetable, fruit, grains, protein, and dairy. And the recommendations from my plate are that half of your plate should be fruit and vegetable. Grains, half of your grains should be whole grains. The protein should be lean protein, and dairy should be low fat or no fat dairy. Those are the main recommendations from my plate. So as we can see here now, this is our first lesson, the welcoming lesson, okay? Uh, through all the lessons, we're going to learn how to eat food on a limited budget, as I mentioned it, how to plan meals and snacks and shop for food, how to keep food safe, and we're gonna touch that topic today, and how to include more physical activity in our everyday life. So today we are going to talk about also we're gonna practice some knife safety skill, very important for cooking, okay? This is our first lesson. The second,
So the second lesson is going to be about get moving. So in this lesson, we're going to begin to learn how to be more physically active in our everyday lives. All right. So one of the things we're going to learn is that it's important to drink water while being physically active.
yes. And the third lesson is going to be plan, shop, and save. In this lesson, we're gonna learn how to plan meals and make a grocery list that will help us remember what we need to buy and will help us save money on our grocery bill as well. So it's very important.
I'm looking forward to that lesson. So then the one after that's going to be about fruits and veggies and making them half your plate. So we're going to learn how to add more fruits and vegetables to our meals and snacks.
And the next one is going to be may have your grains whole grains. In the grain lessons, we're gonna learn why whole grains are important and how to tell if a grain is a whole grain.
After that, we're going to look at go lean with protein. And that lesson about protein, we're going to learn how to choose and prepare protein foods that are low in fat. And we're also going to learn how to keep our food safe to eat.
And the next one is gonna be building a strong bonds. In build strong bonds, we're gonna learn how to build and maintain strong bonds by eating healthy food, high in calcium, and by doing some strengthening activities.
We're also going to talk about making a change. And here we're just going to explore ways to reduce fat, sugar, and salt in the foods that we eat daily.
Yes, and the last one is gonna be celebrate. Yes, at the celebrate lesson, we're gonna look back what we have learned. We're gonna do some food demonstration as well, and also we're gonna celebrate our healthy behaviors. Okay, you're going to receive a graduation certificate, so keep with us every other week. The next one gonna be 2nd November at the same time. Okay, so invite your friends to join us in the group so you can, we can have a very interactive experience, okay, in this lesson.
Awesome. So as I mentioned earlier, mentioning about physical activity. So in each lesson after today, we're going to include for you guys a link for exercise video. And we definitely encourage you to participate at right there at home. We just encourage you to wear some comfortable clothes and shoes that will allow you to move. If you have any physical limitations, modify the exercise. Okay, but do participate. It's really good for you. And we also encourage you to drink plenty of water.
Yes, so being safe in the kitchen, include keeping our food safe to eat and be really carefully and cautious to prevent burns on some cuts. So we're going to practice, as I mentioned, some how to use the knife in a safe way. But I have a question for Yesenia.
Mhm.
Yesenia, like how many people die from foodborne illness diseases and why?
Okay, so unfortunately, Anna, about 3,000 people die yearly of a foodborne illness. And the reason is because a lot of people are not following the basic 4 steps to fight bacteria. So
Ah,
these steps include clean, Okay, so when we say clean, we talking about washing our hands with soap and warm water, 20 seconds, and this would allow to remove the germs from our hands. Especially nowadays, we are hearing so much about washing our hands. Okay, so we definitely want to do that, but also we want to encourage this step in your kitchen. So look at your countertops, your cutting boards, your kitchen utensils. All right, want to make sure we wash them clean to avoid the spread of bacteria. And the second step right there, as we see in the screen, it's actually like that related to, we have two cutting boards, one with raw meat and one with produce. So separate is the second step. We want to separate our foods to avoid what is called cross-contamination, which is the spread of germs. So in order to do that, we encourage you to use separate cutting boards, one for your raw meats and one for your cooked and your produce. All right, and this will avoid the cross-contamination, all right, the spread of germs. Then the third step is cook. So we encourage you to use a food thermometer in your kitchen. A food thermometer will allow you to know for sure if a meat is safe to eat. A lot of times, I think maybe because, you know, we've been taught like that, we tend to kind of rely on what the color of a meat looks like and assume that it's cooked, but that might not be the case all the time. And we run the risk of getting a foodborne illness if the food is not cooked all the way. So we encourage you, use a food thermometer, all right? It will help us know if the meat is safe to eat. And the last step, the fourth step, is to chill. So we encourage you, don't leave your foods out of the refrigerator for 2 or more hours as the bacteria may grow in them. We encourage you put them in the refrigerator, and also pay attention to the temperature you have your refrigerator and your freezer set to. So your refrigerator should be 40 degrees or below, and your freezer should be 0 degrees or below.
Wow, thank you so much, Yesenia. So anyone have a question, feel free to write your question in the chat. Thank you for these important steps. Let's repeat it. The first one is clean. Second one is separate. Very important to separate. The third one is to cook. Cook in the proper temperature. And the fourth one, chill. Also using the correct temperature. Thank you so much. Very important. Now, let's share some basic steps for using the knife in a safe way. So let me tell you that the first one is hold the knife properly. How you gonna do it? By hold your knife, by gripping the knife where the handle meets the blade, okay? With your forefinger and thumb on either side of the flat part of the blade. Always use a cutting board, okay? Never hold the food on your hands, never. Also, you can place a damp kitchen towel or paper towel underneath the board or mat for keeping from sleeping. So on the hand that is holding the food, you're going to tuck your fingers in toward your palm, doing like a bird claw shape or a crab shape. Tucking your fingers in reduces the risk of cutting your fingers. Also create a flat surface on your food. Okay, this is gonna do it more stable, like round foods like onion or potato like this one. You're going to create a flat surface. Okay, this is going to make your food more stable. Okay, so also it's going to prevent from cutting your fingers. Always cut away from your body. Do not leave the tip of the blade, you know, from the cutting board. Do not leave the blade. And also, when you start cutting, use the seesaw motion like this. See? I have you all guys, I think this short demonstration, okay? Like this. So remember as well, when carrying your knife or working with your knife, point the blade down. Okay, by pointing your blade down, this is the safe way to carry your knife. Also pass the knife to others by the handle, not the blade. And always transfer your knife with a knife shield, okay? Or also you can wrap in a kitchen towel. Really, you know, type with tape if you have some tape, okay? So anyone has some questions so far for us?
No, but actually, Hilma just shared with us that her favorite vegetable is zucchini and she likes it both cooked and raw. And
Oh,
then also our
wow.
friend Josefa shared that her favorite vegetable is broccoli.
Oh,
Because she
good.
can make a natural broccoli juice. She can add it to other vegetables with meat. She can make broccoli bread. I've never heard of that, but that sounds delicious. And she can also use it for soup. So
Excellent. Thank you for sharing all those important, different ways how we can cook our vegetable. Very, very important. So feel free to share with us, and also if you have a question, write it down and say hi to us so we can also acknowledge you as one of our guests for this section. Okay.
right.
So let's do a quick review. The first one, Jesse,
So
for
we
the
want to, yep, we want to make sure that we hold the knife properly. So we want to grip the knife where the handle meets the blade. We want to place one thumb on one side of the blade and our index finger on the other side of the blade.
Exactly. And also the next one is going to be on the hand on the hand that is holding your food, tuck your fingers in, doing like a bear claw or crab shape. That's going to help you to avoid cutting your fingers.
Okay, and then the third step is to create a flat surface on the food. So when we're cutting round foods, like you had a potato right there, or maybe an onion, we want to make sure we cut them in half first, and then lay the flat side down and keep cutting from there. And this makes the food more stable, and it makes it less likely that the knife will slip.
Exactly. And also the next one is to create a flat surface. Oh, you really say that. Create a flat surface. Always cut away from your body, okay? And keep the tip of the knife on the cutting board. That's very important.
Okay, then we want, when carrying a knife and walking with a knife, we want to make sure that we point the blade down towards the floor.
Excellent. And when carry us, also remember to pass the knife to other by the handle, not the blade.
All right. And always transport a knife in a knife shield or with the blade wrapped in a thick kitchen towel, either tied or taped shut.
And wash your knife immediately after using them. Do not leave in the sink, like where nobody can see it, or store your knife also safely in a drawer, and do not leave it in the counter lying there. So good so far. So let's talk about cutting boards. And let me ask you a question, Jesse.
Mhm.
And also any one of you can answer. Which is better, wood cutting board, plastic, glass, or ceramic cutting board?
I think maybe either glass or ceramic might be better. Maybe.
Uh, you know what? Um, you can use any of them if you use it in the proper way. But and because the way that you clean each of them is different. So using different cutting boards for different types of food is one way to keep our food safe. So consider always using one cutting board for fresh produces like vegetable, fruit, and a different cutting board for raw meat, for poultry, for seafood.
Mhm.
This will prevent bacteria, for contaminating your food. This will prevent the cross-contamination, as Yesenia mentioned it in the second step, separate. Okay, so if you only have one cutting board, be sure to wash it with hot soapy water between each use.
Okay. And then when we're talking about cleaning cutting boards and mats, we want to keep all cutting boards clean by washing them, like you just said, with hot soapy water after each use. We rinse with clean water and air or towel dry. Cutting boards made of plastic, glass, or ceramic, those can be put in the dishwasher. But wooden cutting boards, they may crack and split in the dishwasher, which is why we encourage to wash them with hot soapy water by hand and don't let them sit in the water.
And remember that all cutting boards wear out over time. So once a cutting board becomes like excessively worn or develop hard to clean groove, it's time to replace it by a new one.
Anna, let me ask you a question. Why the grooves? Why do we have to replace the cutting board after those cracks or those grooves develop in a wooden cutting board, let's say?
It's very important because, if it is hard to clean and those are deep groove, you can, over time, maybe it can rely on their colony of bacteria, hiding some bacteria, inside the groove. So it is important that if it develops some crack really, really deep,
Mhm.
hard to clean, is the moment for replacing your cutting board.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good. So any questions so far? Anyone? Let me see.
No, but we do have Lucy Rivera that is also joining us.
Okay, welcome. And also I have Marlene. Marlene, welcome. Amari Rivera, welcome to our first class. It's gonna be 9 lessons and you're gonna learn a lot. The next lesson is gonna be the 2nd November. So let me tell you that our class series is based on the dietetic guidelines for Americans and the physical guidelines for Americans. So we can use these guidelines to help improve our health and reduce the risk of diseases. So my plate, as you say here, is a picture that goes along with the dietetic guidelines for Americans, okay? And it helps us to plan our meals and snacks as well.
All right. So physical activity is also an important part of our healthy lifestyle. So remember that after today's lesson, you for the next future lessons, you're gonna receive a link on the chat and you can join and get your exercise on. Just put on some comfortable clothes. If you have any physical limitations, modify it because you also want to be safe. And don't forget to drink water while being physically active.
Okay, and also now it's moment for showing you how we can use liquid versus dry measuring cups. Right here, I have a liquid measuring cup. So different ingredients like water or flour, we use different measuring cups. So for liquid measuring cups, for example, we measure, of course, liquid like milk or broth. So how you can use it? Let me tell you really quick. You place the cup on the surface level. You bend down, a little bit to the level of your eyes level, okay, to the same level, and you fill out your cup, okay. So liquids curve up a little bit on the edge of the cup and down a little bit in the middle. So it is important to read the curve on the bottom of the middle, okay, and then you add or take liquid as you need it.
Okay, awesome. So then we also have dry measuring cups. We have right here. Okay, so when we're using these dry measuring cups, we want to spoon the dry ingredient into the appropriate size measuring cup. We can overfill it just a little bit. All right, and then we want to hold it over the ingredient container. Okay, and then you can run the back of a spatula, a butter knife, or a table knife. We run it over just to level it. And this allows that whatever excess from this cup will fall into its container. So we don't waste food.
Excellent. Some measuring spoons. I have here some measuring spoons, and those are used for both liquid and dry ingredients as well. So you can measure liquid and dry ingredients with this measuring spoon, but don't use it over the bowl. So when you are using liquid, fill the spoon full, and when you're going to use some dry ingredient, overfill the spoon, and then you level up with an spatula. The same as Yesenia did with the dry measuring cups.
Okay. Now for dry measuring cups and measuring spoons, you can also add up or divide the measurements if you don't have the exact measurement that you need. So for example, if I need like 3/4 of a cup, but I don't have a 3/4 cup, I can always use a 1/4 cup and a 1/2 cup, and I can use those to get the exact measurement that I need. Or if I need 1/8 of a teaspoon of an ingredient, but I don't have 1/8 of a teaspoon to measure, I can use a quarter one. I'll use half of it.
Exactly. Good, thank you. Good tip. So welcome Betty Diaz as well. Hilma have a question. Let's find out the answer for this question. What do they recommend for removing coronavirus from kitchen surfaces? What do you think, Yesenia, for removing coronavirus from kitchen surfaces and food?
Okay. I would say you would have to use like maybe like a bleach solution because you definitely want to kill those germs off. You also want to be careful, you know, like yourself also with the hand washing. I would say maybe like maybe a
The
Clorox
first step,
water.
yeah,
Yeah.
cleaning. Cleaning is the most important part, you know, for preventing any contamination in our food. So clean all the surfaces, which is the first step that we Jasenia mentioned for, you know, preventing contamination in the food. So clean your surface, wash your hands, and remember the second step, separate by using, you know, different cutting boards for fresh produce or raw meat is different, you know. So let's follow those 4 steps that we mentioned, which are really, really important to prevent, you know, contamination in the food. Okay. Okay. Anyway, Cuevia Cornejo say, I can hear, is happening the same to all of you?
I don't think so. Because we can see the comments here. Um,
Okay, yeah, some people, yes, I'm doing, maybe I think Cuevia has some issue with your computer, maybe. Okay, but thank you so much for joining.